And I found the narrative online to really strike me a lot different than how I felt when I just seen the scores. And I want to start with one tweet that I seen from an Arsenal fan, which kind of is the beginning of this in my head, which I did reply to, was just about Arsenal fans having PTSD but from the last couple of seasons. So I'll read it out to you guys, right? So it's from Stefan. I don't even know how to pronounce your name, at Tilke_OS, mate. December 28th. A lot of Arsenal fans have PTSD from 22-23 and 23-24, and it's preventing them from enjoying this season. We have lost only 2 matches in about 27 games and sit top of our Champions League group. We've also just qualified for the Carabao Cup semi-finals. We are having a fantastic season so far, yet after every match day, all I see is how we played. It's ridiculous and entitled from a lot of you. Now, this is my point here. Online is a lot about how we played, and how we played. And as a fan, I understand that. I want my team to play well. I want to enjoy watching it. I'll get that into Liverpool a little bit later on in the video. From a neutral point of view, just checking out those scores when I loaded it up from an Arsenal point of view, it was another win. I didn't know how you got it, and I just looked and went, Arsenal have won again. They have kept that train running, almost kind of expected. Well done. I'm kind of waiting for them to slip up, and they're not slipping up. And by the way, I replied to this by saying, try getting 90 plus points and being literally the best team in Europe, bar City or a Real Madrid team that ended up winning 3 Champions League in a row. That's real scars, my friend. Only way this ends is by winning a trophy. And that's the fact of the matter here, Arsenal, is the only way any of this narrative ends and the talk of everything ends is by you winning one of the Premier League or the Champions League trophy. And until you do, the narrative will continue. And that is coming from a Liverpool fan who had to wait a long time to eventually see that and have to deal with this Man City side in that kind of 90 points battle, which is going to go down. I was thinking today, there's got to be a documentary or something that eventually comes out about that little era there between Pep and Klopp in the Premier League, and maybe even start it when they're in the Bundesliga. That would be a brilliant watch, and kind of go through those seasons, because it just will not end, and Arsenal fans need to take that. And to be quite honest with you, it doesn't matter how you do it, just get over the line, right? Just get over the line. We all want to see our team play great football and do all this kind of perfect type stuff and be entertained, and there's a huge part of it that goes into that. I'm not discounting it, but for this part of the video, I'm going to sit on the other side of the fence and say, look, when I see the results, it's just about winning. So that was that on Arsenal. And if we look at the league table just quickly, I want to go through Arsenal, City and Villa as kind of a 3 here for the main part of the video in the beginning. Arsenal, we know, are still sitting there on top, 2 points ahead of City on 42, City on 40 after their win. And Aston Villa, as we know, beating Chelsea, are staying in the mix and are kind of keeping that dream and that fantasy hope alive. So staying on Arsenal and City, there at the top, there was an interesting video on TalkSport, which I'm going to play here.
Different conversations. Totally. As you said, Arsenal were 2-0 up and cruising. You can't believe when Brighton scores against the run of play.
Exactly.
You need those big moments, and he is playing his part. There's absolutely no 2 ways about that. I'm surprised Arsenal were pegged back, but this is this season in the Premier League.
Yep.
Facts, Mark.
People keep talking about Man City. They're inevitable, and I get all that. I think people are slightly overrating Man City right now, and I think they're slightly underrating Arsenal. And the reason why I say that...
Can I interrupt? Why are they overhyping Man City? The run of form, they won 6-7 in a row?
Yeah, they have, but I still think
their performance ain't been dominated.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
But then was that a sign of
But
a
that's
good
an
team?
interesting
They're
one.
not-
There you go.
But that's the point.
But that was going to be
That's
my
not wrong,
point,
but
Sam.
that's the point.
When Man City don't play particularly well, or another side, say Forest earlier, get at them a bit,
it
but
done.
Man City win by the odd go, and goes, yeah, but they're winning and they're doing it. When Arsenal do it, everyone goes, oh, hang on a minute, it's a little bit shaky.
Fair enough.
Both sides did that today. Both of those teams could have dropped points today. Neither of them did.
Yep.
Over to Villa now, who are going to play Chelsea, and they're kicking off in
We know Aston
matter
Villa
of
beat them
minutes'
and do
time.
very well. But point is the narrative on Man City getting a win and that inevitable form and that run, right, compared to Arsenal, is because we've seen Pep Guardiola Man City do it. So we know they can do it, whereas the narrative on Arsenal is still, oh, they're squeaking by, they're only just getting by. And that is my point. That will not change until you get over the line, Arsenal fans, and that's just the nature of the beast. I mean, ignore it. I would love, at hopefully some point in the future, down the line with this whole thing, to be able to sit down with like a real top-class manager, in particular, I think more so than a player, because the manager has to control that dressing room and that dynamic, and say, how much of it do you guys really tune into? And like, when do you use it? Because I think the best managers and the great managers have their eye on it. Don't let them distract it, right? But use it when needed. Use the narrative of what everyone else is saying when needed to pump you up or do whatever, right? Because that's the nature of the beast. We live in the world, especially now where it's content news all the time. You know, even me with this, it's like video, trying to get everything out. So that's why the narrative is different, though, is because Man City have done it and Arsenal haven't. And Arsenal have to ride that wave. And are they thinking about this in the training ground, all that stuff? Is Arteta having to play it? I'd love to know. It'd be fascinating to know. But again, another point there about narrative does play its part, certainly on a media side of things. But just keep winning football matches. Just keep winning football matches. It doesn't matter if it's 1-0, 2-1, whatever it is, squeaking by a corner or whatever. If you lift the trophy at the end of the season and you have it in your hands, your name goes down there, etched in history. You've done it. You've won it. On Manchester City, the thing for me that would really say, oh, I don't know Arsenal. And I think for this title, that first one, it's obviously easier if you can get ahead and you can keep them at touch and distance, whoever it is, and not have this go into the wire race when it gets into March and April, right? Because that's when the pressure is on you and everyone's talking about all these things and blowing it up and saying City have done it and Arsenal haven't. But Pep Guardiola has been different this season. He's been a lot different this season, and he's been a lot more different in recent weeks. And I said this in a couple of past videos, it's because I think he's looking around. I don't think he thought the City team would be quite there yet. I think the 2-year deal was thinking, get us to a point in this first season. Second season, we go for it. I kind of bow out. Boom, thank you, I'm done here. With Man City doing everything I've done. But I think he's looked around and thought, look at where we are right now in December. We're getting wins together, right? Just being in the mix and recognising that. So here's Pep Guardiola and why I think Arsenal are in a bit of trouble. Really, really interesting little press conference after the Nottingham Forest game here.
Energy. We're back. Energy. We lost last season. Me first and everyone. Energy. Start to train better. Start to compete better. Energy. Without that, that is the first action. After we can talk with 3 in the back, 4 in the back, wingers, fullback. That is.
So there you go, right? Energy. After that, then you can start talking about all the stuff for the wingers in the back four and that, as he said, it's bullshit, right? And it is. I harp on about that a lot, and I've never been big into tactics and all that stuff, and I understand that's part of the game, but I think it's been over-egged, and I think he's been misunderstood. I'll be quite honest with you. I think he's been misunderstood, but that always happens when you kind of come and you dominate and you define an era and you change a game, whether it's football or music or filmmaking or whatever. You're going to be misunderstood, and people are going to take their own ways of things, that how they think you do it, and play off on that. But really, there you go, energy, and you can see it in him, you can see it in City. There's energy. Let's carry on and see what else he's saying to it.
When I went out against Al Hilal in a World Cup, it's not the fact we didn't win the World Cup. It's the fact we were so good there. It's time of holidays, no? I said, okay, I'm going to holidays. I was up because I'm good here. With the guys training, I'm good in the competition. The place that we are in Boca Raton, in front of the beach, and everybody was happy. Play golf, the people, make a lot of dinners, a lot of talks. A lot what happen next season? We have to do it. And we want to extend just to live there. You know, when you are comfortable in one place, and
Comfort. Don't want to leave comfort.
That was, but I think there. After a week, we talked with Pep, with James, with Manel, with Hugo, with Chiqui. When I went and said, something changed. Something.
There you go. So he said he felt after that kind of whole time, Club World Cup and everything like that, like something changed when they were talking about it. They seen it, they felt it, right? And again, that's not like a tactical thing or anything like that. That's understanding the group, and again, knowing when you're onto something. Even if you think, and I think he says that a little bit later in this video, which we'll get to, even if you think something about where it's going to get to and where you think it's going to happen and when it's going to happen, that's life, by the way, with everything. I can want this video to be the one that blows up and pops off on YouTube or whatever, right? You can plan it, and that's fine, and you can go along the way, but it truly never really works out that way, and you have to recognize when something changes and something shifts and capitalize on it.
Still, we were in that time knowing little bit players in the best way to suit to play. Sometimes you need time. And talk with the players and said, in the way we press here, we're not comfortable. And
so sometimes it didn't suit the players, how they were trying to do things. It didn't quite work. And again, big key there, which we don't give. And that whole social media age and the narrative that I'm talking about, time, right? And how do you earn time? Winning football matches and winning trophies. He's definitely earned it, right?
It's not good to go in a half spaces, or it's too risky, or whatever, or sometimes you need. It's not to have a manager. We are not a magician. Okay, we're going to do, and everything is click. Sometimes you have to, win, or sometimes you have to discover the way they play the team. You have just one winger now, the other ones are injured, so you have to adapt the way. I didn't expect Nico O'Reilly make this performance and like it's performing, right?
Yep.
So
Again,
you
didn't
need
expect
sometimes realize yourself as well. So,
There you go.
We proved that, but it doesn't work. We have to change a little bit, because new players, there's a new.
See there, right? Sometimes you have to realize yourself that it's not working. You have to change a little bit, and I've harped on a lot about this since I've started this whole kind of YouTube channel. Is that managers that continuously just keep doing the same things when it's not working, right? You have to be self-aware. You have to adapt. You can't have your ego get in the way of it. Ego is an important thing in life, an important thing at a high level of sport. Whatever you do, it's a driving force that gives you the confidence and belief that you can do it. But you can't let it cloud your judgment, right? You can't let it cloud your judgment. And if this guy here, Pep Guardiola, is saying you have to be self-aware and realize when you have to adapt, then anyone else should be.
And the opponents always face us in different ways. So that's why sometimes you need time. And winning helps, to advance this process.
Winning definitely helps.
To
That's what it's about.
reduce, the timing to be a better team.
Yeah.
So because it's not about you or you or you. It was something was in the fog of Manchester, surround our training center, that we miss it.
But I think that's an interesting part too, where he says there's like fog clouding it or whatever it may be, right? That he can't quite work out. It was probably the first time we've seen that for Pep, and that was the question. How can he rejuvenate? Can he find it in himself after winning for so long and being around the game? Can he find it in himself to adapt, to move on? And I think you're seeing a guy that had to go through that to get to this kind of next and probably final phase as him as a manager here with whatever he's doing, to just have a new bit of energy, have a new way of seeing the game, have a new way of thinking about the game, and also bringing guys in like Pep Linders and Kolo Touré and stuff like that to help him and listen to them. He doesn't just go off of everything that he says. He listens to what these other people say. So that's another interesting one.
Yeah, everything, the same details. It's not a switch on, switch off about that, but it's about the results helps and about the methodology and Pep Linders and
There you go, Pep
James
Linders.
and Kolo Touré and new players. I want to help them, when you have 7, 8, 9 players with the same players at the end. Pep is tired, new players.
Yeah.
How is this guy? How is their guys? And these kind of things, and try and analyze and say it's not going well against Spurs. Why it happened? Now it's going a lot of my marking. It's try to the energy come from there. Especially, let me be clear and honest. When you win games, the energy is more there.
Lots of huge gems in there, but it's a guy that's in a new phase of himself. It is a guy that's in a new phase of himself, and he sees where his team is at. He knows where he's at. He sees his staff around him. And like he's saying, winning helps, right? Win a game, you go into training on Monday, you tell a guy to do something, he's going to do it for you. He's going to do it for you because you're winning. And at the end of the day, everyone's at that level of sport, and everyone's playing because they want to win. Aston Villa with another big win again there. I saw a really interesting thing about people feel as if they're maybe saving energy a little bit, and a lot of people thought that they played that Chelsea game like it was the first leg of a European tie because they've got Arsenal coming up, and intriguing way again. Unai Emery, I think, seems to have looks like he's got different things going. He's looking at different ways to play. So Villa are in that mix there, and it's a huge one tomorrow night with Villa and Arsenal. I mean, yeah, just a one win there again. It's a narrative changer. It's a huge momentum changer and shifter there for Aston Villa and Arsenal. So we'll see that there. Liverpool, Chelsea, United, I think are kind of like in a group here. They are in a group because I think Liverpool, I've seen a lot of stuff about Liverpool fans saying about like, oh, just how we watch us isn't great. And I agree. I do agree. I don't think it's great to watch at the moment, but I'm happy when I see that we've won, when I just look at the phone, and I'm happy to see that league table when we're sitting there on 32 points. And again, similar with Pep, I think you got to go through a bit of a phase to then come back into the new one. And I think if Liverpool keep winning, then Slot can start to get the emphasis on what else he wants to do and not be quite as compact and get the attacking part going a bit better. Wirtz gets that goal, which is huge for him. By all accounts, he was great. Chelsea, again, just kind of I don't want to hammer too much on Chelsea here too long because it's just what they do. We've seen a lot of Chelsea fans unhappy. And then United as well, with Amorim kind of changing system and tactics and everything like that. Is he doing it? How long will it last? And again, talked about in one video, Gary Neville saying that Ruben Amorim, it's exciting to see the way of playing. Okay, that's great, but he's going to have to continue to get results, which again he is. It's a good result for them against Newcastle on Boxing Day, who again are in a bit of trouble there, and I think Eddie Howe's starting to run out of excuses. I've said a lot about Eddie Howe, so I don't want to go too much into it. And to finish off just on Bournemouth, who I think, again, how narrative is helping Iraola here with what he's done in the last couple of seasons and how good they've been. Look at where they are now, 15th. It looks as if Manuel's off, potentially to City. It's not fully done yet. Obviously, put my video out about that. If they get him, that is massive as well. But just in a bit of trouble there, just 2 points off of Leeds and in a really bad run of form. But his past narrative, again, similar to City, which we said about Arsenal at the start of that video, his past narrative is helping him get over the line there. And not helping him get over the line, apologies. His past narrative is helping him. People maybe not be on it as much. The eyes aren't on as much. Media aren't on as much because of how he's done. It's kind of going under the radar a little bit, and it will eventually catch up to him in Bournemouth. So I just wanted to talk about narrative. That was really it, about how the media landscape and social media can be so different, and about how time and winning really is what it's about, and winning gives you time. Hearts obviously lose to Hibs in the Edinburgh Derby. That was a pumping, and it could have been a lot more for Hearts, and they were lucky to almost get themselves back into it. Nancy's got a couple of wins in a row there. Rangers with another win over Motherwell, which is no easy feat. So things are still going there in Scotland. But look, I've got about a minute and a half left on this memory card, so I'm going to leave this one here. Thanks again for tuning in. Subscribers to the full video. Hope you enjoyed it. Those of you that just check this out on YouTube and see the kind of edited version, if you're looking at something, you're interested, and you want to get full videos, you like what I'm saying, I've got a grouped page. You can check it out. Everything's obviously on the YouTube page and all the social media pages. Hope everyone had a good Christmas and Boxing Day. I'll be back obviously after the next round of games. But yeah, as always, until the next one, have a good one. Peace.